Hello, viewers. I am Dr. Smartha, and you are with me in this show of NutraBytes with me, that is Dr. Smartha. We have today a very different kind of personality who has come up from, let's say, Earth to he's going towards achieving so many different kind of accolades for himself and also for others. So I think I am welcoming Ratim on this particular platform and also asking you to really be with him because I think very important aspect is along with him, there are so many people attached and so many really, I call it as a economy which he has really created, what I would say economy, which I will be able to really explain you later, the very different economy, which has been established in the world and he is part of that economy. So I will get you a little bit later on. However, talking about me, I am chairman in one of the consulting firm that is Interlink. We do a lot of work from entering into the pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, wellness industries, then transforming them if the things are not doing well, and also empowering them. I believe in empowerment because it's more important to really have people around you because our industry is people intensive, not as much as capital intensive. It's very working capital intensive and also people intensive. I think more important that we need to really have much more prestige and respect for people around you. So I think that's also I expect and empowering them to do that. And that's what we do. So I think let's welcome with big applaud, Mr. Ratim. Mr. Ratim, please come forward, right? And say hello to our viewers.
Thank you, Dr. Smartha, for calling me in this platform, and I'm really honored. And I hope I would be able to express and articulate that the questions that you have. Thank you again.
Ratim, I would like to ask you, as you have really built up today an empire in terms of, in my opinion, empire, because something which is to be done, because I know I was also that person who was in the ground and long back, maybe 53 years before, as a medical representative, you were also there. We used to call during that time ourselves as medical servicemen. Now the kind of nomenclature is changed, so medical representative. So from there, you really grown up into UFC, right? So what is that really is your journey at the moment? How would you really look at your journey from there to here? If you can really explain that so people will also understand who are you, and also as I respect you or give you a different kind of respect in my eyes as well as in my heart as well as in the industry, they also will look at you differently. So you can just narrate your history or journey.
My I basically belong to a remote place of West Bengal, and I moved to Bombay in 2002. I had my educations. I have done my post graduations in human physiology, then specialized into medical nutrition, and then after that also I got into my research work, uh, which is nutritional interventions in liver carcinoma. Uh, I started my career as a sales executive in a pharma industry, like so many other people. And I started my career in Bombay. Uh, so the journey so far, yes, I have worked of couple of companies, and I have grown up in my professional career and ladder quite faster. Um, I would say here that the faster growth is nothing to do with, I don't think it is to be done with my talent or skills. Today I see there are a lot of people around me who are working with me or industry colleagues. I see they are much more skilled than me. Only difference that probably, whatever the difference I could make it, it's because of I was decisive right from day one. I have taken a decisions on right time. uh, I have taken a risk based on the situations, not putting into the over enthusiasm, rather putting into the reality. Uh, and obviously, some people who have been attached with me right from day one till today, uh, I got good advisors, good mentors, good colleagues, friends, seniors. And that has helped me a lot to justify or whatever I was aspiring. Long way to go. Rather, I would say that I have just started. Uh, Most of my part of my career I spent with dealing with oncology drugs, products, and research. So, generally, I have a nag of doing something around to oncology. Uh, so in a nutshell, I would say that the journey so far was extremely learning. I was always open, and since I have been from a lower middle class group, so my feet is always grounded. Till today, I do not forget from where I have come and who are the people who has helped me, who are the people who have mentored me. I'm in constant touch with them. So that's how I would express.
Right.
And in
Right. In
coming
fact,
days also.
yeah, yeah. And Ratim, I would say that the kind of maybe you're fortunate as well as you ensured that, what is the law of attraction, we say. So people get attracted to you. So I think that's where I think perhaps your fortune that you got good people and also around you good people. And also I see that kind of thing which you have a relationship as well as the attachment and involvement and engagement of people. Now, what is that instinct which you can really remember when you started on your own? Because you left and you really started on your own. So, what is that instinct? Because today you can call it, I do not call you as a chairman, managing director, etc., etc. These are the designation. You are beyond that. So, from that point of view, what is the instinct which you feel? Do you really had that first time? No, I think I must do something on my own. As you rightly said, I want to make a difference and decisiveness. I think these are the two parts are very important for any entrepreneur. Believe me, taking decisions and further you have really kind of encapsulated it with timing. Believe me, timing is such a crucial aspect. Once you leave it, leave it. That's where we call it in management is a luck. In management parlance, luck is nothing but timing, what you do at that time. So, what is the instinct which you can really explain to us?
Well, first of all, I would say that instinct is a very big word at this juncture for me, because I personally believe that what made me do what I wanted to do, that instinct is something which is found or discovered much later of the career. Probably kind of person you are, you may be able to realizing what was the instinct. But for me, it is probably it's very difficult to articulate the what is the instinct. But I would put it in this way that in a growth path, I have always closed my the door which can take me back. So I had only one options to move forward, which has helped me to take the timely decisions and to execute my best of my effort. I think at this juncture, I would say instinct as uh, I instinct is something that for me at this juncture is that I have never thought of going back in my decisions. So that's what probably I'm still pursuing what I wanted to do. uh, Secondly, I would say that in my childhood, I always wanted to be, I wanted to do something which make me meet a lot of people, make me visit a lot of places, new places. So I was not very clear that what I'll be doing like all other, people. Uh, but if I relate to my current professions, yes, I do get a lot of people to new people to meet, to interact, to know, to learn, and obviously a lot of places to go. So
Right.
that's what I would say.
Very good. In fact, looking at what you have just now said, I think where did you get the kind of feeling that I should do something on my own? See, because one of the ideologies or one of the thought is when people don't want to report to somebody, they say, "No, I would be on my own." So I think looking at that part or something which has really said, I think this is the time now I would like to go. Somebody influenced, somebody really cajoled, somebody also sometimes not really behaved well. So many things are there. So any specific thing you remember?
Well, first of all, I never thought that I'll go into my own. My father was a school teacher in a small village. So I have seen the world with a lot of ethics, integrity, and all. Never thought of running business. In my entire family, nobody is into the business. I am the first generation business. I'm into business. So that way it was not planned. And rather, many people told me that I can be a good leader, but I cannot run my company of my own. Okay, so you can say there are this also has pushed me to take the call earlier, that when people said, and the people some of my mentor who said ki you have done well, you're a good leader, people follows you, but only thing is that ki don't try to make your own business. So that probably has helped me to take a decision
Triggered.
faster. Number one.
Right.
Number two is that ki, me coming into the business is happened because of the rejections, I would say.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rejections I have gone through of my project, which I wanted to do in my earlier organizations and previous organizations. And every project is got appreciated, but end of the day, it got rejected.
Okay.
So one time it came that when I thought, ki, let's do something which I want to do. And that's how it started. So rejection has helped me to take a call.
I think that's a very, very important motive, I tell you, Ratan, because I think that gives a determination. That gives a impulse of saying others that I am correct. And this, if I given you, that can work better. So I think it's a very, very, and I must say that very good that you took the decision. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen you in this kind of different kind of conditions, right? Okay. Now, having said that, now when you started the first time, and the kind of, now you say first time because you are also getting into global area today. So what is the kind of, how did you look at the name of the company? How do you look at everything? So how did you really? It's like a creating something like a own child. So from that point of view, how did you really look at that, and how do you nurture that child? How did you keep the name? What happened, etc., etc.?
Well, I it's like that. Ki you know, uh, before I started the company full phase, though a company was incorporated, but I float a consulting firm first. Okay. And the purpose was floating a consulting firm is that to get a confidence as an entrepreneur. Okay. So it was a sole running consultancy, and that consultancy, when I got some good reputed multinational companies assignments, and there
Was
when
it
interacting,
basically was it basically in patient engagement
uh,
or
patient engagement
consultancy?
as well as business development, PNL handling,
Oh,
consulting on PNL part, that kind of things was there.
I think
So I
that has
got a lot
groomed
of
you.
that
That
has
has
groomed
groomed
me,
you.
which I
Yes,
took a
yes.
period of around 2 years, which I did, and and I was very selective. Secondly, as far as company concerned, Esperer Bioresearch is my first company, which is a parent company now. From there, I have created another company. So there, um, you know, I only studied one thing about that before I float the company. That in last 5 years in Indian market, how many companies in that space has failed? I have not studied any success stories. I have only marked, I had a small diary where I only noted down that these are the company entered into this oncology space, and this is their journey, and either they closed down or they have merged or they have docile. So around 27 companies which I have studied of my own, in spite of having some companies, in spite of having bigger house, they could not sustain with their oncology divisions or company. So that has helped me to make a list of what I'm not supposed to do.
That's
So
exactly I wanted to say. What not to
yeah,
do.
yeah, that was very clear
Right.
till today. Till today, that is the only thing I do. Any new project, small or big, whatever I am taking it, I make it very clear to my team as well as to me that this is something which I'm not going to do it.
Is there
And
any
that,
secret in this? Can you really tell it to all of us? So really look at it. Okay, this should not be done. Maybe your many things are there. Maybe one of them.
well, first is that like onco nutrition I'm working. So first 3 to 5 years, I have decided I will not get into the manufacturing as a
Oh,
forte. So that
okay.
kind of there are it
Okay.
starts from
Right. Now, how did you choose onco nutrition? So very nutrition, so you felt onco nutrition, or oncology was the kind of you were living in that? That's what I call it as I was telling in the beginning. Also, there is a creation of an oncology economy. There is a kind of subset of economy, right from patient to doctor to manufacturer to everybody to caretaker. So that's a kind of economic ecosystem has been formed. This ecosystem has economy by itself because everybody is paying itself and the value is created from this entire channel. Yet the patient has to be there, so family also is included. So it's not like a patient relationship. It's like that. So is there anything which you felt at that moment? Why onco-nutrition? Why not oncological products? Why not something else?
I started with oncology chemotherapy products, which is my parent company. But right from beginning, I was working for the onco nutrition. The reason is very simple. It was since I was there quite a long time with oncology, and there are certain gaps which came in my mind in this particular space, where I felt that the speed where the oncology drug innovations are happening, more the drug innovations happens, more the cancer as a therapy is going towards the curative therapy, the toxicity level of the drug is growing. So there has to be a substantial therapy which can absorb or complement the toxicity of the higher therapy which can cure cancer. Otherwise, one day we will reach in a time where we'll have a curative therapy that we have today, curative therapy in oncology, but there will be no complementary therapy which can take care or absorb the side effects or the complexity or toxicity of the oncology drugs. And I found nutrition can be a wonderful bridge to handle that. So that's what I thought
So
is a gap.
you learned nutrition for that, or you have some other person who is assisting you in nutrition, or you knew
Uh,
it?
Basically, my educational backgrounds also comes from human
Comes.
physiology and medical nutrition specialized. But
Okay,
yes,
okay.
there are a lot of oncologists which I came through in my career. They also taught me a lot of things. There are a lot of dietitians I got it. There are a lot of other people who from where I came to know a lot of things about it. So I
So
integrated
yeah,
those knowledge.
integrated. Right. No, I have a different kind of perspective here. In fact, I'm propagating that. I would like to really test it with you. Ki, look at it this way: any surgery is not accomplished or complete unless there is an anesthetist. Without anesthesia, there is no surgery. So similarly, I consider that any consultant you take, any physician you take, let's say surgeon you take, anybody you take, unless there is a nutritionist or dietitian along with him, there's no life. There's no full of life. So I think I am looking at this pharma nutrition, where the pharma has to really regard nutrition together. Although they may not know, because many doctors today don't know nutrition. So how do you really react to this situation? That is very important, integral part, or it comes first, it comes later. How do you look at the nutrition into it in your field of oncology?
Well, in Aspirant Onco Nutrition, we always say right from day one that nutrition is not a supportive care. Nutrition is a complementary care. So without that, the optimal outcome of the drug will not happen. So there is a big change in the terminology. Having said nutrition is a complementary, nutrition is a supportive therapy. Rather, we are saying that nutrition is a complementary therapy, not only in case of oncology, and maybe in some all other cases, preventive oncology cases, non-communicable disease cases, we cannot ignore. Second thing is that floating a company, research-based companies in onco nutrition space or clinical nutrition space comes with lot of responsibilities of upgrading the knowledge of the entire ecosystem about the subject. So I cannot research a product, develop a product, and only sell the product. There are a lot of responsibilities where I need to see whatever I can contribute and I can inspire, or Aspirant Onco Nutrition can inspire other big players to come in this play and to, you know, more upgrade the knowledge of this particular space. I think then only that initiative will be uh, fulfilled.
It's a very, very beautiful and noble cause which you are really serving. However, how many such patients you have, let's say, touched so far in your so many years? How many years it's your bio research company has been now completing? So how many such patients, oncology patients or cancer patients, you must have really treated, or you must have really helped or made a difference? Any number?
See, roughly, we have already served more than 3 lakh doses in oncos patients in
Sure.
last 3 years.
Very noble cause. I must say that very noble cause, and I think you are doing such a good thing, and that is somewhere I was talking to Mr. Mariwala in earlier session, and he was saying, "Look, I would like to make a difference," and I think that's where the same theme I see here. You would like to make a difference in the life of those who are really suffering acutely, differently. Right? Now, how many years did you continue this particular journey, and what is that you are now doing, or what do you like to really get to grow, scale it, or go globally, remain here in India? I think that requires a lot of funding. You require somewhere the kind of what we say earlier Rishi Muni's days, or all those literates. They used to say Rajashri is important. Somebody has to really give me that little bit of support. So how do you really manage that? What do you do?
Well, that's a very important part for any entrepreneurial journey. Idea germinates, a business, but to sustain the business, you need to have a investor as a partner. And I was always very keen to choosing my investing partner. And company is twice funded. Second round of fund also has been completed, and uh, we are good to go. There is no financial, at least next 5 years, company is financially secured the way it has
Lovely,
happened.
lovely,
Yeah.
lovely, lovely.
But I would say here that uh, I have gone through this journey so that I can say it. Uh, in Indian understanding, uh, investors are not a fund provider. I would say the kind of business that we are in, where there is a social cause, there is a social commitment also is involved. Choose your investor very carefully. At the same time, uh, be very honest to the investors. As an entrepreneur, the first and foremost responsibility lies to return the investors' money in a committed time. I think most of the time we forget that. We keep on thinking about business development, but let us say the first 1,000 days of our business, our investor should gets the money back. That should be the thumb rule. In my first operations, I am able to do it in 200 days. I could return my money
Lovely.
of my first investors and
Very,
second
very,
investors.
very nice. Those investors must be happy with you.
They have secondly again
Reinvested.
invested.
Reinvested. So what's your plan, Raktim, for these now 3-4 years down the line? What are you going to really plan? What are you planning?
Well, we have already taken the international move. Apart from domestic, we have already spread over each part of the country, and all the major healthcare institutions are with a business contract with us currently. We have already taken a step international, like Middle East. We have already put recruitment already done in Dubai based. We have started receiving orders from there. Then Southeast Asian or country also, the things are going on for us. European countries, we have signed 2 MOUs at this juncture. The discussion is going on. UK NHS, we have already approved, already applied, and discussion is going on. Because of the COVID, it is going little slow. US and Japan also, we have a long run plan. Maybe next year onwards, we will aggressively work for US and Japan. But till that time, we want to establish in Middle East, Southeast Asian area, and some of the European countries.
In fact, I looking at the way you have really grown or made your journey. What are the challenges? Because the challenges could be from family, challenges could be from, career, people, career around you, those who are mentors, those who are, everybody, to really keep them, as I said right in the beginning, that it's a people intensivity or people engagement which you are really looking at, even including of the patient's engagement. So what are the challenges you felt or you faced, and how did you really came out of that?
Well, I'm almost touching 2 decades of my total experience, but it took 15 years for me to realize that self-sufficiency is something which resists us to grow. We cannot think that we alone can do the things. So identifying the right people will always being a key, and identifying and giving them a confidence and fulfilling the commitment towards the people, I think that takes you in a different level, which happened with me. And I have seen many people, as I said, skilled than me, uh, but probably the self sufficiency is something which is bringing them down, or they are not able to justify what they can do it. So now, if you ask about challenges, I would say that this is the first challenge that we had within me, that I had to really believe that I cannot make a difference. If someone says that I will make a difference, it's actually,
Alone you cannot do. Yeah, alone you
it's
cannot do.
not possible. It's not possible. And second challenge is that obviously that when you are floating an idea, how many people we make them believe, that matters a lot. So that gives you a confidence. I think there I worked a hard, though I have a good career background, but still, when you are flowing your own company, but because this is very categorically, I would say that suppose you are working in a big brand in a very higher position, handling a global business, the moment you out and start your own business, you are absolutely zero,
You're
because
nobody. You're
people,
nobody.
yeah, I have seen people think that since they are handling a big company's big portfolio, that so the all the industry will respect the same way. It does not happen. You, the company banner which was there so long with you, the moment it gets vanished, you are only alone. So you have to start from zero. So that's what your idea, believing your believers of your idea is very, very crucial to get into the track to your business.
I think that's very good because you have believed in yourself first. Okay, you can do it, and what you should do and should not do, that is known to you. Having said this, I think your own passion and your own really working for people has really worked for yourself. Very good. I think that's so nice, Raktim, that I had a discussion with you, and really I'm so happy to meet you. And I wish you all the success, because I think all the people, not only of Indian, maybe Dubai, maybe Southeast Asia, maybe anywhere, wherever they get in touch with you, they get a relief, and also pain is relieved, because basically oncology has really categorized with the pain. So I think that is released, and with your nutrition, I think let them really heal themselves and go on. I think I wish you all the luck, Raktim, right? All.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you. You must have seen how Raktim Chattopadhyay, who is a founder and CEO of this nutrition company, Spreadon Nutrition, and he started with, let's say, bio research, which was his first company, and he's also scaling up now to grow towards the entire, let's say, I would say, spreading his wings in such a way that provided he gets a chance, he gets the funding people, and he will get, I'm sure about that, so that even patients can be really survived, also can be touched, can be maintained well on oncology nutrition. I think that's the best thing which we have really seen, that the kind of passion, the kind of connection, connectivity, and willingness to serve is we have seen in Raktim. What I liked most was a very, very important aspect of his. What he said is, look, you have to really be honest. That's number one. You have to be responsible. I think looking at the kind of oncology nutrition, I must say that there is a lot of responsibility on his shoulders beyond being entrepreneur, beyond being CEO, beyond being founder. And I think that's very important. You should be honest to yourself. You should believe in yourself and see that how to really work on yourself. And that's a great example. I must really salute Lady Raktim on this issue, because he needs to also look at very, very clearly, he's not only honest, but keeping the word. If he has given the word to his investor that I'll return your money on such and such date, and that's also a good philosophy he has, is of 1,000 days. We also look at the nurturing child for 1,000 days. Similarly, he looked at it and perhaps he has given it back. Not perhaps, surely he must have given it back to his investors who have reinvested. And that's, I think, a good story for all of us. Let's again clap for Raktim Chattopadhyay and wish him all the good luck. Thank you very much to you. Bye.